Hi friends, how are we doing? This is Priyanka from Priyanka's Neverland, and thank you for visiting my blog and my YouTube channel. This time I'm reviewing a book called Wings of Silence, and it's been written by Sriram Iyer. What I really liked about this particular book was the intensity that sort of attaches a reader to the characters in the book, and though it revolves around a family, uh, the individuals become very important, and how then these individuals sort of um, show their roles and come out as individuals within a family is quite appreciable. So I'll just read you my review, which you can also find on my blog. I'll just share the link later on, but then to just give you an idea of the book, I'll just read out my review. Have you dreamt of long wide roads and you panting and yet running hard, your eyes focused onto the curve ahead on the road that would again lead to many more milestones ahead, that would finally give way to that glistening red line symbolizing the end of a race, the beginning of a new phase of accolades, fame, money, and smiles come across your lips, and you give that one last shot of adrenaline into your prowess. Just then, something rushes past you, and it takes a moment or two to actually form a picture, a moving image of something, rather someone, running along. No, not along, but running ahead. The moving object seems to be huffing too and slows down for some time, as the two of you head past milestones headstrong. You take a leap, determined to overtake, and finally you reach to his place equaling. And as you look up at his face, the familiarity is striking. The same eyebrows, the energetic smile, and the glistening eyes, and the limping. Of course, the limping. The guy was limping, and yet he was at par with you. And it strikes you. It is your brother. The brother who seemed like a failure within the 20 years of his existence. But then, how was he running? You were so sure he could not. And you were so sure that you never gave him the opportunity to even try running. He was now out of breath, and his eyes were weary. His body was thirsty, not to be quenched by water, but by a wind. His foot is bleeding, and is profusely bleeding, and now it is clear that you can win. But what do? Do you go ahead with your success? Or do you encourage that handicapped but able brother of yours to go ahead and win it for himself? This is the crux of the story Sriram has beautifully penned for us to read. It is his debut, but the finesse with which he has described emotions and played with them along the characters is sensitive and heart-rendering, as well as happy and enlightening. Call it a fiction if you please, but trust me, by the time you are through cover to cover, I can guarantee you'd feel like a changed man or a changed woman, simply because of the warmth that the book fills you with. No, I have not given the story yet. There is no character who limps as such, but it is about about having a differently abled brother. It is about the typical Indian family, though the segregation between the normal and the different is not exclusive of any country, um, where two brothers are seen differently simply because one is physically normal and the other isn't. It is about how the little physical flaw begins to sharpen differences and then enters into the psyche of both the person and the people around him. Though there were a few places where I thought that the plot seemed to be unfitting. For example, Shalini, Saurav's girlfriend, um, flees from her family, and she's just studying. So that seemed quite unlikely. The other thing was also that the sudden change in the orthodox father's heart regarding the handicapped son seemed a little unlikely to me. The most striking thing was how Saurav gives away his career, his passion, his love for tennis to support Raj. I mean, supporting is something completely different, but I don't think that someone who's so passionate about a sport would just not make it for the future rounds. So that is one place where I thought that it probably, I mean, needed help. But then rest of it, I think it was just perfect. It was beautiful. There were moments when I felt like crying. There were moments when I smiled and I laughed, and the whole sense of emotion of actually getting what you want. It completely came out true, and I think everyone who wants to feel that emotion must read this book. It's absolutely moving. Uh, so I hope you do, and if you do, if you agree with me, or if you don't, please do come back to my blog and do let me know what you think about it. Okay? Thank you. Love you. God bless you all.